Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, covering new PC releases for the week of April the 8th to the 14th. Starting on Monday, April the 8th, we saw the release of Cubemen 2. This is a 3D strategy game that was developed and published by 3 Sprockets. The game features a single-player campaign as well as a co-op and competitive multiplayer. There are 5 gameplay modes, including Tower Defense, Rescue, Skirmish, Capture the Flag, and Territory. And there's also a level creation system where you can build your own levels to play any of those gameplay modes on. Now, I took a look at this game in a checkout video, and I thought it was not that bad, especially given its price point of only $7.99. It's a pretty interesting take on the tower defense gameplay. You know, in normal tower defense games, you've got waves of enemies coming towards your base that you have to try to defend, and you just put up these various static towers. Well, in Cubemen, you've got this essentially the same thing, but instead of static towers, you've got these little mobile characters that you can move around in the middle of playing, so you can constantly sort of adjust your placement and strategy while you're playing the game. So it's pretty interesting. And then beyond that, again, there's the additional gameplay modes like Capture the Flag and Territory that you can do with real people. So at its price point, not a bad game, definitely not going to be for everyone, but if you'd like to learn more about Cubemen 2, there is a video currently on the channel. Moving on to Tuesday, April the 9th, we are seeing the release of Age of Empires 2 HD. This is the high-definition remake of the 1999 medieval real-time strategy game. Now, I originally planned to cover this game before launch. They were doing this pre-order deal where if you bought it ahead of time, you would gain early access to the game. Unfortunately, there were a ton of issues. For myself in particular, I wasn't even able to launch the game. It simply wouldn't boot. I'd double-click on the icon on my desktop, it'd show like it's processing to start, and then nothing would happen. Now, I tried all sorts of things. I tried running directly from Steam. I tried going directly to the folder and launching from there. I tried running as administrator. Pretty much every trick in the book, and the game would not launch. Now that it is finally released, I can tell you I can launch the game, but I guess there's been all sorts of issues beyond that. People are experiencing a ton of lag, like latency issues, but just in-game frame rate choppiness. There have been problems with disconnects as well, so it's sort of been a hot mess so far. I hope to take a look at this, although I don't know if I'm going to cover it this week. I'm going to spend some time with it and hopefully get you a video eventually on the HD version of Age of Empires 2. Now on to Wednesday, April the 10th, we are seeing the release of Age of Wushu. This is a free-to-play MMORPG that recreates an ancient Chinese world of Kung Fu. The game's combat is focused on the martial arts, and leveling is actually done on a per-skill basis. So instead of really leveling your character, you're leveling your individual skills. Now, being a free-to-play game, there is a cash shop where you can purchase things like mounts and costumes. You can also, however, buy gold, which is the in-game currency, and there's a premium VIP system where people who buy into it get special benefits. It's kind of feeling like it might be pay to win. I don't know if that's the case though. I have access to Age of Wushu. It's launching tomorrow. I'll be playing it a little bit tonight and hopefully giving you a video tomorrow to coincide with the launch to give you some of my first impressions. I really hope it's not. A pay to win game. Obviously, everyone hates that, but this just sounds like an interesting title. I mean, a kung fu focused MMO. That sounds like something I'd like to check out. Also on Wednesday the 10th, we're seeing the release of Shootmania Storm. This is the competitive multiplayer FPS game from the Mania series developer Nadio Studio. It's a game that, as far as I can tell, they're really trying to focus on esports. I've seen it at a few conventions. Actually, recently saw it at PAX East. They were doing a bunch of live commentary with the game, and it's a really competitive focused game. Definitely not your average like Call of Duty style shooter. It's really focused on precision and things like that. Looks pretty interesting. Hope to take a look at this and give you guys some coverage as well. And that pretty much does it for new releases this week. Pretty thin in terms of new titles. Let's go ahead and talk about my planned content. Now, the first thing I want to touch on is the Company of Heroes 2 beta. I mentioned last week that I was hoping to take a look at this and give you guys some video coverage. Unfortunately, though, there's an NDA, which means no video coverage of the beta is allowed. As soon as that NDA is lifted, I'll give you guys some coverage of Company of Heroes 2. Until then, my hands are pretty much tied. Now, I already did that video for Cubemen 2, and I do plan to cover, at the very least this week, Age of Wushu and Shootmania Storm 2, with the potential of looking at at the Age of Empires 2 HD edition. Also, I'm checking out a new gameplay mode in Smite this Thursday and called All Random All Mid, which is exactly how it sounds. It's a single lane where everyone who's playing gets a random character and you just sort of go at it. It's going to be like a Team Zerg Fest. So I'll be checking that out on Thursday, hopefully having you that video on Thursday evening. I'm really not sure what's going on with the ESO cast. I've got to try to get back in touch with Jesse. He's been really busy recently, traveling and just busy with his own channel. So I'm going to talk to him, see if we'll have the ESO cast this week. If that's going to happen, I'll be sure to send out a message on Twitter just so you guys can know. Friday Night Magic, of course, will happen. And the Force feed. Force, what's happening? Well, that is happening today and tomorrow, and then that'll go back on its normal schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Didn't happen yesterday. I was tied up with a whole bunch of other stuff. No, I wasn't just playing Defiance. I'm still enjoying that game, but I just had some other personal stuff going on yesterday, so I wasn't able to do the Force feed, but that's coming today and tomorrow to make up for the lack of yesterday, and then again back on Friday we'll be continuing that normal schedule. And I guess that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, covering new PC releases and my planned content for this week. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.